Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode here with Southampton. We're returning off the back of a big episode last time out where we faced Manchester City, Liverpool and Spurs in the league, and were unfortunately knocked out of the Carabao Cup in the quarter-finals on the penalty shootout to Arsenal. We've got more big games coming today, kicking off with Chelsea and Manchester United in the Premier League. We'll also face Manchester City once again in the league, this time at St Mary's, and Spurs away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium alongside our FA Cup third round clash against Cardiff, where we've been drawn at home at St Mary's. So lots to crack on with today, starting with our first game of the episode at St Mary's, taking on Enzo Maresca's Chelsea side. Currently 8 points behind us, despite being just one place lower in the league table. If they do want to claw themselves back into this title race, they're going to need a victory here on the South Coast. Big clash. Come on, you Saints. But yeah, kicking off here at St Mary's. So far this season, it's really been ourselves, City and Spurs, who have flown out of the blocks and really pulled away at the top of the table. Oh, what a turn by Williams. We're currently 8 points clear of Chelsea, despite them being just one place below us. But yeah, there's sort of a clear gap between us three and the chasing pack. But if Chelsea do manage to win here, then it would certainly bring them back into the equation. So, interesting game. We're yet to taste defeat in the Premier League this campaign, and I want to ensure that record continues here. Now Martson down the left, looking to take on Reece James. Another former Chelsea man, of course. There is St Maximan on the edge. This time he lets fly. Williams causing us a few issues so far today. Zielinski's strike. And that's a good save. In fact, I think it was Brahim Diaz who took the effort on in the end. Again, Muric forced into the stop. Corner goes short. Brahim Diaz. And it falls for Cole Palmer. And that one, thankfully, straight at the Kosovan. But already, I think the third or fourth time he's been forced into a save today. Well, despite being goalless at the break, it was quite an open and end-to-end first 45. Especially those opening 20 minutes or so were really end-to-end. Couple of good saves from both shot stoppers. But the game did sort of die down in the final 20-25 minutes of the half. Brahim Diaz into Valverde, through the gap to Cole Palmer. And on the weaker right foot, Muric forced into the save. Second half has been really quiet, and both sides have struggled in the conditions. But Palmer sent away there, only to be denied by Muric. Now Valverde finds Diaz, and his effort goes over the top of the crossbar. Valverde, Chelsea looking to strike late. Nico Williams denied by Muric, and that will do it here at St Mary's. Chelsea with a little late flurry, and they were probably the better side out there. It's another draw for the Saints. Still yet to lose in the Premier League, but lots of draws creeping into our game. Chelsea the better side, but we managed to keep them out for another clean sheet. Not the greatest game to start off the episode with a goalless draw, but there were plenty of chances for either side to win it. Yeah, another man of the match display there from the Kosovan Muric. That's why he is back-to-back Golden Glove winner in the Premier League, and he's leading the race once again this campaign. But with Manchester City now opening a gap of 5 points at the top of the table as we approach the halfway stage, taking on United here away at Old Trafford, currently struggling down in 9th place at the moment. Another poor season for the Red Devils. We need to be targeting a return to winning ways and another 3 points on the board to keep pace with Man City. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, another really tricky run of games for the Saints, and we had a nice run at the start of the season, so I guess this is kind of the universe making up for it. But we've got Crystal Palace in our next game, who are high flying and having a really good campaign. Then, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we've got Man City and Spurs today once again. as Aston Franks goes into the book early. So this is a really important part of the season for the Saints. What a ball that is, and Bruno just gets there on the stretch. Zirkzee looking to get past Van Dijk, and the Dutchman lays it off for Bruno Fernandes, and Yusuf does really well. Now Stein steps away from two and plays it through to Marcus Leonardo, looking to get away. Marcus Leonardo! That's a brilliant Southampton goal. Stein did brilliantly to hold off two in midfield, and Marcus Leonardo just runs past the defender like he's not there, smashes it into that top corner, and 5 before the break, the Saints take the lead at Old Trafford. Lookman off the bench finds the Mexican Eric Sanchez. Now Bruno Fernandes through the gap. Joshua Zirkzee, so much time, and he's composed as he finds the top corner. Van Dijk tried to get across and make a block, but Zirkzee just took his time, and on the weaker left foot slams it into the top corner, probably against the run of play. That United haven't caused me too many issues, but with 20 to play, they peg us back level at 1 apiece. Gruev back to Marcos Leonardo, and it's wide. A big miss from the Brazilian as the Saints look to snatch all 3 points. And yep, it's all over here at Old Trafford. Another draw in the Premier League for Southampton. I think that is draw number 7 or potentially 8 in the Premier League. I think it's 7 out of 18 with 11 wins. Just far too many draws that have allowed Manchester City to create a gap at the top. And if they've won again on match day 18, that gap will be getting extended even further. Yeah, that is a really bad time in the season to be dropping more points. And wow, look at that. Manchester City are flying. They beat Brentford, and Spurs beat Villa in the evening kickoffs as we drew with United. Spurs then lost away at West Ham, but Man City with another big win at Villa Park, extending the gap to 10 points over us at the top. We do have the game in hand, but that draw at United has really given Manchester City the chance to extend their lead. That's a really, really poor result from a leading position. And now taking on Crystal Palace, who they themselves are having a pretty decent start to the campaign. Back at home at St Mary's, this being our game in hand, we need to ensure we return to winning ways once again to cut the gap to 7 at the halfway stage. Big, big fixture this. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, that Man City train just keeps rolling on, and Southampton being left in the dust. We need to get back to winning ways here as Livramento forces an early stop, and Archer flashes a shot wide. Promising start again, but nothing but a victory here is good enough. On the front foot early, would love an early goal to settle the nerves at St Mary's. St Maximan's done really well there. Still Alan St Maximan, and still lovely feet. And there's Cameron Archer, surely. And this time we do take the lead. Just 7 minutes in, Cameron Archer continues his good goal scoring record in the Premier League this campaign and fires us into the lead. Yeah, crowd in full voice at the moment, and the message from me on the sideline is keep attacking, stay on the front foot, look for that second goal to give us the cushion, as Sem picks it up and plays it safe back to Downs. There's St Maximan, lots of bodies forward here. St Maximan to Livramento, sits up nicely for him, and he has a crack on the weaker left foot which Kovar saw late. Livramento dispossessed. Mateus França has it at Loco. Ball inside, and Ketia. Trouble, and Burmo straight at Muric. What a let-off. Soles stepped out there and not won it. And look at the gaps. Look at the gaps. And Ketia, what a save. Muric again. And Burmo for the Eagles. Now Renchi, former player of ours last year on FC 24. No. And from that, Matheus França, the Brazilian, fires home the equaliser. I said earlier on in the season, when all things were going well for the Saints, our time will come when things start to go downhill. And we've reached that time. Matheus França fires in the equaliser. Edozie, space for Martson. Into Marcus Leonardo. There's Stein. Stein back to Marcus Leonardo to win it. Leonardo! Off the bench with what could be a huge, huge goal for the Saints. A point here would leave the gap at 9 to Manchester City. A win cuts it to 7. Still a lot of work to do, but we need to make sure we pick up all 3 points, and the Brazilian may have just secured them here on the south coast. And that is exactly what he has done. Marcus Leonardo off the bench to rescue the 3 points for Southampton. We desperately needed that goal and that victory. The gap is cut to 7 at the halfway stage. Still a lot of work to be done in the second half of the season to catch Manchester City, but a big, big win here to close out the first phase as Southampton jump up into second place. And oh boy, did we need that. We couldn't afford to reach the halfway stage with a 9 or 10 point gap to Manchester City. As I say, still a huge amount of work to be done. Spurs also just 2 points behind us in third place, with Chelsea in fourth. The European spots are all quite tightly contested, and currently the bottom 3 being Norwich, Burnley and Wolves. But what better place to kick off the second half of the campaign than facing off against Manchester City themselves on a fantastic winning run. Won 16 of their first 19 games in the Premier League. Of course, we're still unbeaten, but it's the draws that are killing us. 7 in our opening at 19. And although I would usually take a point against the Manchester club, we need a win here to close the gap to 4. It would be a fantastic way to kick off the second half of the Premier League campaign as we take on Guardiola's side at St Mary's. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, this Manchester City team is absolutely unbelievable. We managed to keep them out of the Etihad in a 0-0 draw where we were actually the better side, and if we'd taken our chances on that day, would have won. But the clean sheets have dried up a little bit. I think it's only 3 or maybe 4 in our last 7, with plenty of draws during that time as well. But as I said, we really need all 3 here as Marcus Leonardo hits the deck, and that is the worst possible start to the game. The Brazilian, who's just starting to find his form, hitting the deck, staying down, and I'm hoping that's not going to be anything too serious. St Maximan down the left-hand side. Cuts back to find Martson. Now St Maximan again, and Stein fires it into Marcus Leonardo, looking for half a yard, which he gets, and he smashes the ball off the upright. Solé forward to Livramento, nicely worked down this right hand side, and Tino looking to take on Robin Lenormand, does swing the cross in, nobody in the middle, but Stein looking to pick up the second ball. It will come to Downs. Now it is the Dutchman, Martson, into St Maximan, and João Cancelo brings him down according to the referee, and Southampton will have a spot kick. Cancelo not happy, but there definitely is a little touch on the ankles of St Maximan, and Marcos Leonardo, carrying that slight knock, has scored a few from the spot already this season. Marcos Leonardo scores again, and the Saints lead Manchester City at St Mary's. Well, I tell you what, the wet and rainy January conditions really playing a part on the game here at St Mary's. Normally, it has such a major effect on our game style and how we like to play, getting the ball down. But we know that Pep Guardiola's side love to get the ball down on the deck and play, and it's really hindering their game today as Calvin Phillips goes into the book. And Southampton are just playing on the break, soaking up all the pressure and looking to attack at that City backline when they're disjointed. It's really helping us today when it's normally a big hindrance, as Mohamed Kudus into St. Maximan, and the flag goes up for offside. Rodri into Foden, looking to get in the lines of our midfield and defence. Cancelo swings the ball in. Haaland's in there, and Muric tips it onto the post, but the flag does go up, so it wouldn't have counted. But we're just sitting in at the moment saying to Man City, come and break us down, because we're defending really, really well and looking to hit Man City on the break. Quite comfortable in our shape and letting Man City onto us. And now it's Foden, moved into a more central position. Foden finds Rodri. I don't mind him shooting from there, and Downs gets a foot in, but there's Haaland on the spin, and Muric forced into the save as Man City hunt that equaliser. Doku now on down the left-hand side as Manchester City rolling the dice as they look to get back into this. And Van Dijk will get it clear. 15 to play. Can the Saints hold on for a massive 3 points? And with 2 minutes added on, I think that might be enough for the Saints to see it out. Brilliant kick by Muric. And there is Stein. And Stein driving on. And still Stein going all the way. Denied by Unai Simon. But it's not going to matter. A huge victory on the South Coast. And the perfect way to kick off the second half of the Premier League season. A win against the leaders to cut the gap to 4 points. Still a healthy lead for Pep Guardiola's side. But just a reminder that Southampton are not going anywhere. But the only bit of bad news as we head back to the menus, how bad was the injury for Marcos Leonardo? In the notifications, player injured. It is just a 5-day bruise for the Brazilian. We are now into the January transfer window, and with, I think it's 63 million in the budget, we have got the money to bring somebody in, but I'm not sure what we really need at this current stage and who would be available on the transfer market. For the time being, I'm going to leave it as we are, but jumping into our next game as we host Cardiff in the third round of the FA Cup, Marcos Leonardo will be unavailable, but will only be a short-term absence for the Brazilian, looking to make it through to the fourth round without any fuss. Come on, you Saints. Well, still waiting for the first chance of the game as Nathan Tella picks up the ball. There's Edozie. And Teller again, just looking to be a little bit more patient with our passing as Walker-Peters into the area, picks out Sekou Mara, and the Frenchman drills in at the near post, just given way too much time, and bags what I think is goal number 3 of the season. Should be an easy progression through to the fourth round today. Well, that's going to do it here at St Mary's. A really, really poor game in the third round of the FA Cup. Sekou Mara's goal separates the sides, but the game lacked quality. It was really, really poor, and there were no other highlights apart from the goal. But it is the Frenchman who sends us through to the fourth round. Let's go and find out who it is we will face, as we're hoping for another favourable tie. Right, well, before heading into this clash against Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we'll find out who it is we will face, as we've been drawn away at the Riverside to take on Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough. Interesting tie that, playing at a real stadium in the game, so looking forward to that one. But as I say, we will dive into our next one. Second v third in the Premier League. Spurs now 6 points behind City after we beat them. We are just 4 points behind, of course. Big clash here as we take on Ange Postecoglou's side, looking to keep pace with the pace setters Man City. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, huge game this off the back of the win over Manchester City. If we can go back-to-back over our 2 closest title challengers, that's going to be a huge step in the right direction for the Saints. Man City probably hoping for a draw in this one between the 2 sides, but they are still the side setting the pace at the top. We've got a really horrid record here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but we did get a point earlier on in the campaign at St Mary's. So, yeah, I'd love to make it back-to-back wins against our 2 title challengers, but I would certainly take a point here on the road. St Maximan, Leonardo. What's Van Dijk doing up there? Virgil van Dijk hits it straight at Vicario. And Spurs will clear. I've no idea what the big man was doing up there. Went for a venture forward and found himself in a brilliant position, but couldn't open the scoring. Corner for the Saints here. 5 before the break. St Maximan to swing it in. Dangerous ball. Yusuf's header turned away by Vicario. And that is the closest that either side has come in this first 45. Really tight, tense and cagey game so far at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it looks as if the sides will be heading into the break level. Solé, great win. Solé through to Marcus Leonardo. Ake closing in on him, had to take the strike early, but a really quick break that from the Saints. And again, it's Vicario called into action as we're still looking for the opening goal here with 25 to play. Still Livramento. Downs into St Maximan. Lovely footwork. And there's Ian Martson. Tight angle takes the strike on. And Vicario, for the 3rd time today, denies the Saints going in front. Kudus to swing the corner in, looking for Solé. And it's off the woodwork. Southampton getting closer, but still cannot find a way past Vicario in that Tottenham goal. Coman forward to Solanke. Van Dijk close to him, but Solanke still has it. Look to poke it through the gap for Solé. And big trouble here as Solanke gets away. And a little tug on his shirt just put him off. That is the closest that Spurs have come. And with 5 to play, I think that might do it here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Not a classic and not a huge amount of chances, but Southampton did create the best of them, but just could not find a way past Vicario to claim all 3 points. So Manchester City just beat Forest 4-1 at the Etihad to re-extend the gap at the top to 6 points. But before jumping into our next game, which funnily enough is away at Nottingham Forest, we've got 63 million left in the transfer budget as discussed earlier, but I really don't know what to do with it. We're halfway through January. And yes, we're chasing Man City, but if we were to bring anyone in, I don't know who it's going to be. I've got loads of names on the shortlist in practically every position, but I don't think we've got enough for an absolute superstar, and I'm pretty happy with the squad as it is. So I really don't know who I would look to try and bring in, if anyone. We could go for someone like Angel Gomez, who's just a real versatile player, can play anywhere through the heart of midfield. Maybe Florencio as well. I do quite like the look of the Italian. But other than that, I don't really know where we would improve. We've got loads of depth out wide, loads of depth at the back. So I think only really a midfielder is what I'm after. We have got Højbjerg there, but yeah, I don't know where to spend this money at the moment, guys. And if we take a look at the contract situation as well, Brereton Diaz, his deal up at the end of the season. I could have sold him. I could offer him a new deal and try and sell him in the summer. But to be honest, I think for Ben, I'm just going to let him walk on a free. We certainly don't need the cash with the amount of funds that we've got at the club at the moment. And I quite quite like the idea of just letting him stay until the end of the season and then walking on a free. He's been a good servant, but he's barely played this season, only really in garbage time. No goals, no assists. I think it's time to say farewell to Ben. But what I am going to do with some of that money is offer out 2 contracts. One going to club captain Kyle Walker-Peters, taking a rotation squad role with just a year and a half left on his deal. He'll sign a 1-year extension on a slightly increased wage of 55 grand a week. And also for Cameron Archer, having the best season in his Southampton career, 9 goals in 14 appearances in all competitions, and we're going to reward him for that. Also, just a year and a half left on his deal. He'll sign a 1-year extension up to 60 grand a week to reward him for his good form this campaign. But anyway then, jumping into our final game of the episode, we will close out with this one here as we travel to the City ground. Forest currently struggling down in 17th place, just a point above the relegation zone, so this should be a banker as we look to put the pressure on Manchester City as they take on United in a big Manchester derby. Come on, you Saints. And there is St. Maximan. St. Maximan with some nice dribbling. Marcus Leonardo with the shot, big block, and Stein can't pick up the loose ball. That's better though, just slowing things down, waiting for those opportunities as Kudus gets away. Brilliant from Kudus. Marcus Leonardo smashes in the opening goal. It's our first chance of the game, and it leads to the first goal of the game. The Brazilian does it again as Marcus Leonardo fires us into the lead. Kudus able to bring the ball over halfway. Nice dribbling by Kudus. There's Stein. And Stein going on. Stein going on! And scoring the second. It's been a while since he last found the net. He's been creating goals for fun, but he's not scored one of his own for a little while. Stein doubles Southampton's advantage, and I don't see Forest fighting back from here. Yeah, just in complete control now. And a third goal will certainly seal it as St. Maximan, lovely feet, pegged back to Marcus Leonardo, and it probably should have been a third. Dennis Seaman in the way again. Lovely feet by St. Maximan, but just playing without the pressure now and looking for more goals, as it could come down to goal difference come the end of the season as Crystal Palace take a shock lead against Tottenham. And that's a lovely move. And St. Maximan, it's 3. ASM in on the act. Southampton running riot now and enjoying their football in Nottingham. Oh, Walker-Peters on the slide there. Ref stop play, which normally means it's going to be a red. And Walker-Peters sent off out of nowhere. Game absolutely done and dusted. Southampton cruising. It's late, but we've seen this quite often this season. Well, he is quite high on the ankle. Kyle Walker-Peters sent off. We've seen so many red cards this season. Chaibi, Southampton still looking more likely. Ben into Chaibi. And Ben again. Forced wide. Into Archer. And Southampton have got a fourth. And it's Cameron Archer, just after signing that new contract extension, marks it with a goal on the road at the City ground. Boos ringing around the stadium. As Southampton, even with 10 men, add a fourth. Ben did well down the left, pulled it back to Cam, and he rolls it into the far corner. Southampton hit Nottingham Forest for 4, and what a way to close out the episode. Well, yes, guys, that is where we will leave it for today. A great win to close out the episode, and with Manchester City and Tottenham both losing on the road, that has made things very interesting. Gap cut to 3 points on Pep Guardiola's side at the top of the table with 16 to play in the Premier League. Still lots to play for as we hunt down Manchester City in the second half of the campaign. We'll be back in the next episode episode with more big fixtures in the Premier League. We'll have our FA Cup 4th round tie away at the Riverside as we take on Middlesbrough, and also match day 7 and 8 in the Champions League phase, where we look set to qualify in the top 8 and make it through to the last 16 of the competition. Lots to come in the next one. I'll catch you for it very soon. Take care, guys, and peace.